Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Well, okay, it is the next day. Today is Sunday, and I get to play again. So we're going to continue with this project, and what we have to do now is we have to figure out a way to hold this down on the lathe, and which means that we've got to build a clamp for the bottom of it. And I kind of scrounged around and I found an old piece of steel that I'd cut off as something from somewhere, and we'll slide that underneath, and that'll be a good thing. Now what we have to do is there's a little ledge right here and right here. I mean, it's only maybe a ½ an inch ledge, but it is a machined ledge, so we'll use that as our place to land. And I'm going to bring the telescoping gauge in here and see if I can, yep, that's it right there. Okay, let's take a measurement. So we have got 5 inches, 350 thousandths. So I think what we want to do is we want to go cut this at 500 and 305 inches, 350 thousandths, and then we'll drill a hole through it, and I think that's going to be beefy enough to give us what we need. So 5 inches, 350 thousandths. All right. Okay, we found center both ways, that way and that way. And so we're dead center. Well, not dead center, but we're approximately dead center. We're going to engage our drive. Come on. There we go. And get a hole started. All right, so we've got, whoa, let's get it so we can see it. So we've got a ½ inch hole and a ½ inch mill, and we're going to go down, we're going to come across, and we're probably going to make a 1 inch slot just to relieve the pressure of trying to get it centered each time. Boy, and that is just barely enough. Okay, we've got our slot, and this piece is done. This is probably the easiest piece so far. So let's pull that out, and we'll deburr this edge and probably this bottom edge, and we'll be set to go. Put it over in the done pile. We'll be back. Well, again, this is one of those places where if I'd done some drawings and I'd figured it out all on paper, I would have realized that I need a slot cut out of the center of this so that the bolt that comes up and the nut that goes on the bolt can be tightened and loosened. So here we are. We've got a good inch of steel here. Let's see if it is an inch. Yeah, a little over, 1.125 inches. And I think that's going to be enough material. I mean, we're cranking this down tight, but not super tight. It isn't like it's not like a hold down or something like that. This is just holding the steady rest in place. Really what holds it in place is the V. All we need to do is get it to go into the V and stay there. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill down into this, and then we're going to run a mill bit down into it, and then we're going to cut a slot so that the bolt can come up through it. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, because at first I was just going to run the bolt all the way up into here, but the reality of it is I need all of this room in order to get as big a piece as I can in here. So that's not going to work. Let me look at this though. It might work actually now that I'm looking at it, because this has to back up all the way. Okay, come on. Which way are we going? And slide this back as far as we can get it. Yeah, I'm seeing, well, if we take the bolt head off, we would have to, oh, we could just put a spacer in there. Yeah, that would work. And this could slide back almost all the way back to there if we wanted it to be that far back. And you know, I want to get as much of the inside radius as possible, so I'm thinking all the way back to here. And you know, that's going to be certainly enough weld to hold it in place. Which means that the bolt will be in the way. So we are back to cutting a giant slot out of the center of this. And okay, I guess we're just going to have to buckle down and start cutting. We're looking, I'm certain it's about an hour. We're going to fast forward it for you, of course, because, hey, let's not sit here and be totally bored. Okay, crank it up, crank it down. Okay, well, the camera went out on me some point during this process. But I got it cut, and I think that's going to do what we need it to do. Oh yeah, I guess I should get the nut and see if it's going to work. Because we may need to cut a little further. Nah, it's going to be fine. So probably 3/4. Yep. And there's enough room for 2 layers of 3/4. So I like that. All right, so let's take this out and clean it off a little bit and see what we've got. All right, let's break some edges. All right, excellent. So now what we have to do is we need to drill a hole through the center of this, right through there. And then also we need to come in and put a slot, I didn't realize that until afterwards, a slot under here so that the bolt head can lock and not rotate. You see that? I mean, the slot will just be, you know, 1/4 inch deep, and the bolt head will sit in there and it'll slide back and forth, but it won't rotate. So that's that. That's the next step in this little operation, and that we're going to do tomorrow. All right, well, let's find center on this, and we'll cut our hole. So what's our measurement? 4 and a little under 1/2. So we can just go 2 1/4. Gets us halfway. And that should do the trick. Let's see what we got. That looks pretty good. All right, let's take it over to the mill. So we're sitting at, we've got our center figured out. Now all I have to do is get there. And that's going to be pretty easy because this is not a super accurate hole. One thing I want to make sure of is to get platform level. Boy, that is just about on the money. Just a little bit up. That looks good. Okay. And tighten our center. How's that look? A little bit over. And let's drill a hole. Okay, we're going to go faster. At least initially. Center that baby. And it looks like we're about ready to run out of battery, so all right, let's do a run through with something close to a 3/8. I didn't really check. Well, my table won't go down any further and my chuck won't go up any further. Well, here's what we can do. We can take the chuck out and put a 1/2 inch collet in. That gives us more room. In fact, we're probably going to have to come up a bit. And let's slow everybody down. All right, let's make sure our bolt's going to fit before they take this thing apart. Well, I think we're going to have to take the drill out. Come on. All right, it's not going to do it. One way or another, it's not going to go. All right, so we'll just take it sideways. And it fits anyhow, no problem. Let's kiss that hole a little bit. Well, we can just do that by hand later. All right, so we're going to take this out. First, let's get rid of some of the sponge. This comes out, and this goes in, because we've got just a little bit more work to do on that. Okay, what we're destined to do here is to create a slot so that the hex head will fit inside of the slot and the bolt won't turn when we're trying to tighten it up. So I believe I've got this thing centered. I just kind of eyeballed it because, hey, is it critical? No, it's not. So we're going to run, we'll probably run the whole distance. I mean, why not? Well, actually, why? Okay, we're not going to run the whole distance. We're going to run from one end to the other, which would be right about there, and we'll zero out our DRO. We'll crank up the Okay, so we're doing pretty good, and the bolt head is going to fit, and it fits actually fairly snug. But since we didn't measure it, I think I'm just going to give it a little bit looser fit, and we're going to just come back across and make a pass on each of those walls, and we'll be ready to go. All right, nice loose fit. Hopefully we're going to slide right in here. I guess we're going to have to take it off in order to test it. And we got it. Nice slidey, and it's locked. Okay, well that piece is done. Let's go on to our next little part of the project here. We'll be back. All right, so we took an old piece of hot roll, put it on the lathe, made it so we had a nice little slider here, and we've got our hinge or our tongue in, and I'm thinking, you know, I was going to drill a couple holes and put some pins in there and all of that, and I'm thinking, well, wait a second, why not just cut a notch out here and here and throw a little weld in here and come back in there and throw a weld in there? What's going to stop it from being there for the next 150 years? So I think what we have to do first is, this is kind of a rough edge. We're going to pull the pin, we'll pull the tongue. That's kind of a rough edge from there to there. So we're going to smooth that edge off and see what we got. Okay. All right, let's go back and see what we can do. Okay, so we've got just a little undercut right there. I think what we need to do is come back and undercut the whatever that's called, the half circle, and on both sides, so that when we run a bead in there, it's going to be nice and tight. And I'm wondering if we shouldn't go this way too. I don't think we need to. I think we're going to have plenty of beef right there, and just in that ½ inch. We'll preheat this real good and make sure everything is right before we go. And then we're going to arc weld this rather than MIG weld it. And the inside, actually this side looks pretty good. So I think we could be in pretty good shape at this point. We just need to do that that part right there. So we'll go do that and be back. Okay, so we've got our pin in place. We've got it set up. We've got our groove, both grooves on both pieces, and we got the inside set up the same way. So I think what we're going to do now is go ahead and preheat this whole thing, and then come in and just do a quick arc on that, and that should give us a good strong bond. Let's turn on some gas. Okay, we're up to about 400 degrees or so. And let's, I want to clamp this, make sure we're all right, that looks pretty good. Nice. All right, we lost our temperature, so let's do it again. Nice. Okay, I'm going to do a little pre-welding here just to warm everybody up. Not too bad. Okay, that's good for that. Let's do the inside. Spin you around here. Now that we got a good bite, so now we can come in and do a horizontal weld. And we're going to chip it first. All right, let's give it a go. That should do the trick. Nice. Excellent. Okay, we're gonna get it up and flip it over. And we could probably just throw another billet weld in right there. Can you see that? Yeah, not so much. Let's just put one in there to make it look nice, hopefully. But I see that I didn't weld this part right here, so I'm going to throw a fast weld on that just for fun. Not that it's going to be any stronger. Okay, let me put just a little bit more right in here. That's good. I think we pretty much got everything that's needed right here. Maybe I didn't weld the other side. Let's just have a quick look and see. Nope, I didn't.